Hey everyone, welcome to the Fundamentals Investing podcast. I was just reading up on a potential rumor for SoFi collaborating with Google, and I wanted to share some of those details with you in this video. Before I go into the SoFi and Google news, I wanted to share some other topics as I've been keeping up with the SoFi bank charter news for the last couple of weeks now. I've been following along pretty closely. And so I wanted to talk about some new developments with regards to capital raise increases. From 750 million, they raised it to 1.1 billion. Some more rumors that have been surfacing, some marketing and momentum that I've been seeing with SoFi. And finally, this speculation here. And I want to reiterate that this fourth point is speculation, but it's based on the fact that on October 1st, a couple of days ago, Google released news that they would abandon their plans to provide bank accounts to their users. So first, let's start with the capital raise increase. As you know, if you've been following along in my other videos, SoFi announced a capital raise for $750 million, and they raised that amount to $1.1 billion in convertible senior notes due in 2026. So just a couple of thoughts off the bat before I actually get into the PR. The fact that SoFi is raising more money is good because it adds another layer of protection, an extra cushion, so to speak, in terms of their finances. And it probably also telegraphs that they were oversubscribed in this funding round. And so there's more interest in them having the ability to raise more money. I've highlighted a couple of sentences here. The issuance and sale of the notes is scheduled to settle on or about October 4th, 2021, subject to customary closing conditions. So this raise was announced, I think, last week or so, and they're going to be closing the deal and actually having those funds on about October 4th, which is the Monday, tomorrow. And this is good news because if you were thinking that this capital raise was coming off the back of, a pending bank charter approval or something like that, the fact that they're closing and they have the money at their disposal, the next piece of news that's going to come out is what they're going to do with that money, right? So hopefully some news will drop in the next week. Now, the second piece that I've highlighted here is the conversion price. So the initial conversion rate will be 44.6 shares of SoFi's common stock per $1,000 principal amount of notes, equivalent to an initial conversion price of approximately $22.41 per share, which represents a premium of approximately 40% over the last reported sale of 1601 per share, which is what the stock closed on September 29th. So basically what this means is that these notes can be converted into SoFi shares after this price of $22.51. And until that time, there's no dilution because there's no extra shares entering the market. There's no increase in supply. That's good for us because the notes don't bear any interest and the money will help SoFi today. It'll help them provide more lending. And if you're looking at it for the SoFi bank and just operationally do so much more. Right? So they can use the money today without causing any additional dilution. And now let's move into some quick rumors around the bank charter, which people are anticipating more and more. We've been following this one. Chad Borton, who on LinkedIn is the president of SoFi Bank at SoFi. It no longer says information after his title here. That is something that's encouraging, although I don't know if it means so much. But this second piece of news was really interesting to me. It was a post I found on Twitter asking whether SoFi dropped Coinbase as their crypto partner. Up until Wednesday of last week, it said it partnered with Coinbase, and now it goes to a new page and says offered through SoFi Digital Assets. And the person who found this on Twitter and posted is wondering whether it's in anticipation of the banking charter. So if you go to the SoFi Invest page, and you look at this little bar here, it says crypto is offered through SoFi Digital Assets. Up until recently, that used to say crypto is offered through Coinbase. So there's definitely some things happening behind the scenes here. Not sure exactly because we don't have official formal news. But again, as I've said in my other videos, there's so many dedicated people that sniff these things out and are basically detectives for these kinds of rumors. Which is really encouraging to see. And the reason why I make these SoFi videos, I have so much content to aggregate from different people in the community. So that's number two. Number three is that the company is really picking up some strong momentum. Starting us off on September 30th, the NFL announced that they're going to have a huge halftime show with five legendary artists on the stage for the Super Bowl. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. That is an incredible lineup, especially if you are somewhat my age and you grew up with all of these artists. The second piece of news was really interesting. You had LeBron James in an interview say he believes SoFi Stadium is the best stadium in the world. Architecturally, it's the greatest thing he's ever been in. This was reported after he spent, I think, about a weekend in SoFi Stadium watching some of the games. And the biggest piece of news, I think, in terms of the marketing and momentum is SoFi Money Moves, which is really interesting. It's a contest giveaway, which SoFi posted that they're giving $1,000 to 50 winners and a $25,000 grand prize. Basically, if people can do this dance that they created called SoFi Money Moves, it's now a trending hashtag on TikTok with 95 million views. You have everybody from your regular Joes to A-list celebrities doing this dance and tagging SoFi in all of these posts. The amount of awareness that generates is absolutely insane. And when you think of the major demographics of TikTok, it just spirals because if they get younger people to do regular banking through SoFi, then later on down the line, those people are more likely to do bigger purchases, either a mortgage or investing or whatnot through SoFi as well. And so the fact that they're doing this is absolutely amazing to see. And just their marketing and momentum in general is really ramping up. And I think it's going to ramp up more and more as we get closer to Super Bowl time because of SoFi Stadium. It's, as LeBron James said, one of the best in the world. So the marketing is quite amazing and it's showing, right? You have SoFi here since the end of September being higher search volume than Robinhood. And it's really funny to hear as well because Robinhood is a $35 billion company, which is best known for easy access, gamified experiences with regards to investing, this democratizing investing, so to speak. They're known with younger generations. And the fact that since the end of September, all of a sudden now SoFi has more search volume than Robinhood itself worldwide, that's just really encouraging to see because SoFi as a company, again, it's building up this momentum more and more for the company. And finally, let's talk about the Google and SoFi potential partnership. So the only real piece of news here is that on Friday, October 1st, Google abandoned their plans to offer bank accounts to users. This was something that they've been working on for the last 2 years, and now they're finally killing it. They've killed a lot of projects in the past, so definitely don't read into this one, but it was just an interesting theory that I saw floating around. A Google spokesperson had this statement to say. They said that our work with our partners has made it extremely clear that there's consumer demand for simple, seamless, and secure digital payments for online and in-store transactions. We're updating our approach to focus primarily on delivering digital enablement for banks and other financial service providers rather than us serving as the provider of these services. So basically here what they're saying is that they're stepping aside and instead of competing in that banking space, they're going to focus on supporting existing service providers and existing banks here. Now, interestingly, around the same time, there was the same post by a contributing analyst at Bloomberg, which said Alphabet may partner with fintech as it scraps bank plans, React. This is a reaction from this initial event. So the news broke on Friday that Google is abandoning their plans, and this is this analyst's reaction. They highlight Alphabet's abandonment of plans to offer bank accounts is likely aimed at further avoiding regulatory scrutiny, while limited tracked may limit any meaningful revenue contribution. We believe the company might instead partner with fintech companies such as SoFi, Coinbase, and Robinhood. Yes, that's speculation. Yes, it's unsubstantiated. Yes, they're purely rumors. It's quite silly to think that Google might entertain even the simplest notion of a buyout for SoFi, but a partnership, especially when their spokesperson said that they're going to focus on digital enablement for banks and other financial service providers. And the fact that Google's former VP of cloud is now SoFi's CEO of Galileo products, and they have that connection there. you know, I found that rumor really interesting, right? Because I think if SoFi gets the banking charter, it'll open a lot of doors for them, not only on the analyst front or on the institutions front, but also on the partnerships front. Because the fact of the matter stands that it's difficult to get these charters approved. And so I think the main things for us to look for next week is the closing of the note offering on October 4th on Monday, and also to look out for some news and some statements. I wouldn't be surprised if SoFi releases a PR on Monday or Tuesday stating exact plans detailing how they're going to be spending that new influx of capital, 1.1 billion, and also highlighting their plans for the banking charter. If the banking charter news comes next week, then we might see a lot of these dominoes come into place, because it seems like right now, and the reason why I'm focusing so heavily on SoFi for the past 2 weeks is because it's come to that inflection point where it seems like a perfect storm. Because on the institutional front and on the analyst front, you have this perfect scenario where the banking charter unlocks so much for the company. And simultaneously, you have this increased momentum, awareness with regards to SoFi Stadium, with regards to Golden Pacific Bancorp, and all of these celebrities now, even this TikTok movement, 95 million views in 3 days is nothing to sneeze at, right? That is going to be huge. And so it's going to lead to an influx of new memberships as well with SoFi, just inevitably, right? It's just a huge base of people. So I think there's this perfect storm of institutional awareness and retail awareness that can really culminate on one spark of news, which is, it could be the banking charter, it could be something else, it could be a partnership, who knows, right? But the point is, that everything seems locked and loaded for the company. I can't speculate as to when they'll get that banking charter, but it really is getting interesting with regards to the rumors and the news. If you like these types of videos where I talk more about speculation, videos where there's rumors and there's suggestions around, like as opposed to actual news article reactions, let me know in the comments below. And I'll definitely talk about SoFi more heavily as more news comes out. I bought more shares, as you saw in the last video, for SoFi, and I plan on buying even more into the next week, because everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm researching lends way to this idea that the perfect storm for SoFi is here, and all they need is a single spark to set off the domino effect. For right now, this is the Fundamentals of Investing podcast. Thank you so much for listening.